2, 1.
She folds.
You want to see it?
Yeah, I want to.
Sick bluff. Turn the double gutter and missed. Never mind. 9 high like a boss. No heart. Big heart of a lion.
9 high like a boss.
Why does everyone in poker despise William Kassouf? It all started with one line, 9 high like a boss. What looked like cheeky table talk quickly turned him into poker's most annoying villain. But the real story goes far beyond one hand. From endless stalling to scandal and a shocking casino ban. Before the memes, before the casino ban, William Kassouf was just another grinder from the UK, hopping around local tournaments with a reputation for one thing. He couldn't keep his mouth shut. Kassouf wasn't the silent assassin type. He wasn't even the fiery, slam your chips Helmuth type. His weapon was words. From the very first hands of his career, he leaned on endless chatter, needling opponents, narrating his every move, and pushing the limits of what speech play really meant. At first, some players brushed it off. A little table talk never hurt anyone, right? Poker has always had characters, and Kassouf seemed like he was trying to be one of them. But the longer he talked, the more he stalled, and soon the whispers began. Was this banter, or was it an angle? Dealers noticed it, players noticed it, tournament staff noticed it. Kassouf's constant stalling turned routine hands into drawn-out battles of patience. It wasn't just irritating, it was disruptive. And in poker, nothing kills the flow of a game faster than a player who won't act. The complaints piled up, especially in smaller European events where Kassouf first cut his teeth. Other pros started labeling him as that guy, the player you groaned about drawing at your table. He wasn't known for big titles or deep runs. He was known for talking you to death, and yet, this chatterbox reputation was about to hand him the biggest platform imaginable, because in 2016, Kassouf entered the World Series of Poker main event, a tournament watched by millions, where every move is caught on camera. That's when everything changed. His antics, once confined to smaller circuits, suddenly had a global stage. His table talk went from a background annoyance to the centerpiece of ESPN coverage. Some viewers were entertained, others cringed, and the players sitting with him, they were already reaching their breaking point. The main event is where legends are born, but for William Kassouf, it became something very different. It was where the world discovered poker's ultimate heel, and where one hand would forever define him, because soon, Kassouf would sit down across from Matusan, and out of his mouth would come a line that made him famous, and infamous, all at once. The World Series of Poker main event is poker's biggest stage, but for William Kassouf, it wasn't cards that made him famous, it was his mouth. By 2016, Kassouf had already built a reputation for endless table talk. When ESPN's cameras turned on him deep in the main event, the whole world got a taste. He narrated every decision, asked opponents loaded questions, and dragged out hands to the point of exhaustion. Then came the hand against Stacey Materson. Kassouf free-barreled with 9-6 offsuit. Absolutely nothing. By the river, he shoved all in and turned his full attention on Matheson. That's when the barrage began.
Harrison, you don't put me on this hand, I tell you. I can't say what I've got, but you do not put me on this hand. I'm not talking about my hand.
How come his hand is still live when he...
I'm just saying you don't put me on this hand. That's all I said.
Action's on you.
Yeah, I know, but I
Action's
mean...
on you.
Isn't the rule talk to influence action? You can't
gonna
talk
have
to
a-
influence action.
He has. He's telling me he wants me
I
to
will be
call.
having discussion with this gentleman after this hand is over. At this
fine.
point, there's nothing that's out of line, but we will be having a talk.
That's fine. All I said was I'll keep it friendly. If she
So let's
folded
just-
show, I will show.
until
I'll
this
keep it
hand's
friendly.
over.
That's it's a friendly table. We're just
I'm gonna be
enjoying
friendly now.
ourselves.
Let's stop talking until
Okay.
this hand's over.
That's fine.
That's friendly.
If you fold, I'll show. One time. Come on, you don't want to go broke here. He went on and on, refusing to stop. Matusan looked visibly rattled, caught between frustration and fatigue. Tournament staff eventually stepped in and gave Kassouf a penalty for excessive speech play, but not before he dropped the line that turned him into poker's most infamous troll.
I turned the double gutter and missed. Never mind. 9 high like a boss. No heart. Big heart of a lion.
9 high like a boss.
9 high like a boss. Matheson folded. Kassouf proudly tabled his bluff, grinning as the cameras caught it. Viewers at home spread the clip everywhere. Poker had its new villain. But if Kassouf thought he'd just pulled off a career-defining moment, he was only half right. Fans repeated the line endlessly. Memes popped up across Twitter and Facebook. Yet among the pros, there was nothing funny about it. They weren't laughing, they were furious. To them, Kassouf wasn't clever. He was dragging the game down, slowing it to a crawl, and disrespecting opponents on the biggest stage of all. And that anger boiled over just days later, when Kassouf clashed with another pro. Griffin Benger, in an even more explosive showdown. Deep into the 2016 main event, Kassouf once again leaned into his playbook. Constant chatter, relentless pressure, and painfully long tanks. On one hand, he shoved all in, staring across at Benger with the same smirk that had already driven half the table mad. But Griffin wasn't having it. At first, he tried to keep his composure. He stared straight ahead, ignoring the verbal jabs. But as the minutes dragged on, his patience cracked. Finally, he snapped. "You're verbally abusing me. It's not funny, it's abuse. What you're doing is abuse." The table went silent. Cameras zoomed in. Suddenly, it wasn't just a poker hand anymore. It was a confrontation about respect, rules, and how far speech play could really go. The WSOP had its clip for the highlight reel, but Kassouf's reputation with players was finished. It wasn't just that he bluffed with 9 high. It wasn't just that he talked too much. It was the fact that his antics forced professionals to break composure on camera, making the game look like a circus. After ESPN aired the footage, the poker world split in two. Casual viewers thought Kassouf was hilarious, a character who brought drama to a card game, but among the pros, the mood was very different. They saw him as corrosive, as someone who disrespected opponents, wasted time, and bent rules for attention, and those whispers became loud complaints. Tournament directors fielded backlash, commentators voiced their disapproval, and players began openly saying they didn't want to share a table with Kassouf again. Ironically, Kassouf leaned into it. He doubled down on the persona, doing interviews, signing catchphrases, and enjoying his newfound spotlight. For a moment, it looked like he might parlay villainy into a career. But poker isn't wrestling. Villains don't sell pay-per-view. They just ruin the experience for everyone else. But the real disaster was still coming. Because if Kassouf's table antics made him hated, what happened next made him untrustworthy. And in poker, that's far worse. By 2018, William Kassouf's act was wearing thin. The 9 high like a boss line had made him famous, but at the tables, his endless chatter was old news. Players didn't see him as a cheeky entertainer anymore. They saw him as a nuisance. Then came the moment that destroyed whatever credibility he had left. It didn't happen at a poker table. It happened at the roulette wheel inside a Grosvenor casino. Kassouf was out drinking with friends, betting casually, when reports surfaced that he took £100 chips from another player's stack during the session. The story first spread when pro Sean Deeb tweeted about it, and poker forums lit up with details. Soon, Grosvenor investigated, and the consequences were swift. Kassouf's sponsorship deal with Grosvenor Poker was terminated. What made this different from his usual controversies was his response. Kassouf didn't deny being involved. Instead, he issued a statement admitting to what he called an error of judgment on a night of heavy drinking. He framed it as drunken banter among friends rather than deliberate theft. But to the poker world, that explanation didn't matter. Because in this game, your reputation is everything. Angle shooting and speech play might annoy people, but being linked to taking chips that aren't yours, that crosses the line from irritating to untrustworthy. Almost overnight, Kassouf went from poker's villain to poker's pariah. Grosvenor cutting ties meant losing not just a sponsor, but legitimacy. Players who'd long disliked him now had proof, in their eyes, that he wasn't just a troll. He couldn't be trusted. The incident confirmed every suspicion people had been whispering about for years. Kassouf wasn't just controversial. He was careless, reckless, and willing to cross lines that no pro should. And once that label sticks in poker, it never washes off. They say you can't wash away your past, but William Kassouf just made sure nobody ever forgets his. In the 2025 WSOP main event, he didn't just crash and burn. He was escorted out and banned from the rest of the series. On day 7, after finishing 33rd, tournament officials told Kassouf, "You're done. You'll collect your payout, but you won't be welcome anymore." His exit was anything but graceful. Boos, chants of goodbye, and security walking him out. This wasn't a random suspension. It was the culmination of months, years, really, of friction. In 2025 alone, Kassouf had already sparked fury by claiming Americans couldn't handle his trash talk, and by tanking for 10 minutes with the second nut, a move that many saw as disrespectful, absurd, and strategically insulting. His final hand was emblematic. With pocket sevens, he risked it all. Kenny Hallart called with King 5 suited. Kassouf lost. As he left, he looked right at the table and warned, "I'll remember all of your faces. I'll see you next year." What makes this exit so explosive is that it isn't surprising. Everything in Kassouf's history led here. The talking, the stalling, the controversies, the chip scandal. The poker world already built him a villain's path. This moment just unmasked what many had quietly suspected, that Kassouf's relationship with the game and its people was broken. It's not redemption, it's not a fall from grace, it's a statement. In poker, reputation isn't just built hand by hand, it's enforced, and when you cross too many lines, they finally say, it's over. William Kassouf's story is proof that sometimes a single reputation can cost you everything, but not every poker pro loses it all because of scandal. For some, it's something far darker, addiction. From legends who burned through fortunes to champions who couldn't escape their vices, the next story isn't about villains, it's about tragedy.